All right, today on The Explainer, we're doing something a little different. We're going to deconstruct the anatomy of a top-tier scientist. We're going way beyond the lab coat to figure out what it really means to be a global leader in a scientific field.
So let's just jump right in with the big question. What does it actually take to be among the top 2% of scientists on the entire planet? I mean, that is such an elite level. It's obviously talent and a ton of hard work, but there's something more. And the best way to figure it out is to look at a real-world example of someone who actually made it.
The answer really boils down to a story of three things: pure innovation, measurable influence, and a lasting legacy. And our case study for this explainer is Dr. Abdor-Reza Mohammadi Nafchi, a major researcher in food science and technology.
Okay, so first things first. Let's break down what it even means to be a top 2% scientist. This isn't just some nice phrase someone made up. It's a specific, data-driven distinction.
Every year, Stanford University puts out this massive report. They analyze data on millions, literally millions of scientists to see who's being cited the most. Citations are a key way to measure who is the most influential in their field. And Dr. Nafchi? He's earned this distinction not just once, but for 5 consecutive years. That kind of consistency is a huge deal. It shows sustained, high-level impact.
So, how did he get there? You don't get that kind of recognition by accident. It's earned through truly groundbreaking research. And for him, his work in smart packaging is really at the core of his whole story.
We all know the huge problem of food waste and food safety. Well, Dr. Nafchi's work hits this head-on with something called active and intelligent food packaging. Think of it like this. Your usual food container is passive. It just sits there. This new stuff, it's an active participant in keeping your food safe.
The idea behind it is actually pretty simple, which is what makes it so brilliant. As food like meat or milk starts to go bad, it gives off certain gases. Dr. Nafchi develops these special intelligent films that react to those specific gases. And when they react, the film changes color. So instead of just relying on a printed Best By date, you get a live visual sign of how fresh your food actually is.
And this isn't just some theory, it's real. For instance, a recent paper of his from 2024 is all about creating these film strips to check the freshness of coconut milk. It's the perfect example of taking this really advanced science and using it to solve a problem that affects both consumers and the food industry.
You know, having a great idea is one thing. But in science, impact is all about how many of your peers use and build on that idea. So now, let's look at the actual data that shows Dr. Nafchi's global influence.
Just look at how his influence has grown. A citation, by the way, is just when another scientist references your work in their own paper. It's like a professional shout-out. Back in 2015, his work got 181 citations. By 2023, that number exploded to over 1,700 in a single year. A curve like that shows his ideas are becoming absolutely central to his field.
Now, let's talk about a key metric in the academic world, the H-index. It's a really smart way to measure a scientist's impact because it looks at 2 things at once: how many papers you've published and how many times those papers get cited. A high H-index means you've got a big body of work that is also consistently influential.
Dr. Nafchi's H-index is 52. So, what does that actually mean? Well, to put it in perspective, it means he has published at least 52 separate papers that have each been cited at least 52 times. That is a very, very strong score, and it points to a career of both high productivity and major impact.
Okay, there's another powerful metric called the Field-Weighted Citation Impact, or FWCI. This one is super interesting because it kind of levels the playing field. It compares a scientist's citations to the world average for other papers in the exact same field published in the same year. An FWCI of 1.0 means you're performing right at the world average.
So what's Dr. Nafchi's FWCI? It's 2.21, and that number is the key. It's not just a little above average. An FWCI of 2.21 means his research is cited more than double the global average for similar work. That's a clear statistical sign of exceptional influence and real leadership within the scientific community.
You know, modern science is hardly ever a solo mission. A top scientist is also a global collaborator, someone who builds networks that cross borders and even cross into other disciplines. Let's see how this played out in Dr. Nafji's career.
A quick glance at who he's worked with shows this incredible global footprint. He's got co-authors in Australia, Turkey, Iran, his current base in Malaysia, and the list goes on. This isn't just about sharing data. It's about mixing different perspectives and skills from all over the world.
And here's the stat that just drives that point home. A stunning 85% of his published articles were written in collaboration with international partners. That tells you his work is fundamentally global. He's weaving together this worldwide network of knowledge.
Okay, and that brings us to the final pillar, legacy. This is where we go beyond the research papers and look at the human side of science. We're talking mentorship, administration, and building the institutions that will train the scientists of tomorrow.
His career path shows this clear climb into leadership roles. He was a head of department pretty early on. Then he went on to direct specialized research hubs, like the Pistachio Center of Excellence, which is just cool. And eventually, he became dean of an entire engineering department. It's a journey that shows he wasn't just committed to his own research, but to building the whole framework for others to succeed in.
And the scale of that contribution is just staggering. As a supervisor, he's graduated over 150 postgraduate students. He's personally shaped their careers. And think about this. As an editor and reviewer, he's looked at over 2,200 manuscripts. That means he's been a guardian of quality for his entire field. As a leader, he set up programs that have served over 500 students. That's impact. So, when we come all the way back to that first question, the answer is pretty clear. A top scientist isn't just an innovator. They're an influencer, a collaborator, a mentor, and a builder. They don't just create a body of research. They build the next generation and the very structures that let science move forward.
The career of a scientist like Dr. Nafji shows that true impact is this powerful combination of brilliant ideas, real-world influence, and inspiring people. Which leaves us with one final thought. With all the challenges ahead of us, like food security and sustainability, what's the next great problem that the generation of scientists he inspired should solve? That's it for this explainer. Thanks for joining us.